Hey, this is Peter Riley Osborne with BeaverBlitz.com, and I'm doing a trench report review of the offensive lineman coming back next year for the Beavers. Today I'm going to deal with center Nathan Eldridge, transfer from Arizona, and look at some things that he does well and a few things I think he could work on. But in this play particularly, he pretty much knocks it out of the park. So let's go ahead and watch the play, and then I'll go through a few pieces of it. I am going to pause before the play starts just to kind of point out some things to look at while it's running. Okay, so this guy, he's real good. Okay, so right here, you can see the front the Ducks have. It's a four-man front, but it's actually a three defensive lineman front, and then this outside linebacker, whatever they call them. And the way this is set up right now, two things. When you're playing the Ducks, they shift a lot. And one of the benefits of that for people that have never really thought about it or been around, offensive line and defensive line play much, one advantage of that is you have running backs who tend to have a protection scheme. A lot of times it's inside out where they're looking at closest to the center and then moving out to see who they need to pick up in case they're bringing a whole bunch of people. Quarterbacks also make reads off of this to kind of be able to understand where they think pressure may come from. So if they, when they talk about a quarterback feeling pressure, a lot of times their pre-snap reads give them a good idea of where they might feel pressure from, so they can kind of be aware of that. And then obviously linemen need to know who to block. And in this case, and in the Beavers offense, a lot of that is where should double teams happen? Should it be center guard? Should it be guard tackle? Should it be tackle tight end? So they want to kind of figure out where they can have advantages, where they can lock down and really isolate someone and get them out of the play, and where you're going to have one-on-one battles, and you need to be aware of that. So as this play goes, we'll see some of what the Ducks do on defense, but mostly how the offense and specifically Nathan respond is pretty excellent. So here we go. Here's the shift. All right. I wish I had a happier play that ended in a completion, but I think that this play shows a lot from the offensive side of the play, or offensive line play, that is beneficial. So we'll start out. We know that they do shift. We also know that this is a twist stunt here where this guy, it's kind of delayed, and he kind of comes over, and he looks pretty lazy doing it. But a lot of times when you see linemen where they line up and linebackers where they line up, they want to make their job as easy as possible. So if you have a linebacker that's really close to this defensive end, there is a non-insignificant chance that they're either trying to bait you into, wasting some blocker on them while they go out into pass pro, or they're going to do some sort of stunt. You generally don't do a lot of stunts when you're super far away from guys. So, for instance, I doubt you have an inside twist here because these guys are pretty far away, especially when he shifts over. But because these guys are close, if I'm one of these three linemen and maybe this running back, I'm looking at this thinking there's probably going to be some fancy things going on here, and it could include a linebacker. But again, you have five potential receivers, so it'd be pretty ballsy to send some linebackers and leave that middle open. So let's continue with the play. So first off, a center has to be able to snap the ball well. So I don't want to, it's not a huge deal, but I don't want to let this play go without pointing out it was a great snap right into the hands of the quarterback. He's actually in his drop back from where the ball hit him. That's a good job. And it's important. And it seems to be something that like no one really notices until it's not happening. And then it's super noticeable. So again, great work by Nathan taking care of this really important first step. The other thing I want to point out is where he's at. So he is in line with all of these guys. He's in his stance. He's got a hand out on each side, kind of feeling where someone might be coming from. He's not too far forward. If he was up here, like if he just stood up and stood in a stance, if one of these guys crashed the inside, he wouldn't be able to help. So he maintains this relationship where he's able to help either of these guys at any moment, but he doesn't ever commit to one side or the other. He's pretty much locked in right here in the center, and his head is on a swivel, meaning he's looking around to see what's coming his way. Like I said, this is probably going to be a twist, but there could have been a twist here. This guy's crashing down this way pretty hard. When you see someone leave, usually someone's coming. Sometimes it's a linebacker coming in. Sometimes it's this defensive end looping around, or sometimes it's someone from the other end, like they're sending people a couple people down, and then they're going to have this guy come all the way around and fill this hole. You don't really know, but when you see a defensive lineman disappear, by and large, if a defense is leaving a giant hole or gaping hole in the middle of the field, you're going to exploit that because that's a just terrible defense. So usually there's something coming to kind of fill that spot. Okay, so as we said, you have this double team here between Gus and Blake. This guy has virtually no chance of doing anything. Those two are really good linemen that basically neutralize him. You have Clay one-on-one with this guy, and he's doing a great job. And you have Brandon one-on-one with this guy out here. He's doing a great job. And it's a quick hitting play. If you look here, Bradford's already open. He basically is breaking behind this guy. He's going to, there's a great pass that's unfortunately dropped, but it's going to hit him right in a good spot. So they didn't have to block forever. But again, here's Nathan. He realizes that Clay's got his guy pretty well, and he sees this guy crashing down here. So you got three guys here, so he knows someone's coming. And when they eventually loop around in their lazy way, he's definitely right there to stop them. So he gets in, perfect position. None of these guys had any shot at making any sort of play. And, Bradford can just reel this in. You got a first down. And unfortunately, this ended up being a pretty significant drop. But again, in terms of what Nathan did as a center, a lot of the things we talk about, we've had really physically talented players in the past who sometimes commit too early or make mental mistakes that kind of kill a play. And what Nathan did there was kind of a sign of his experience and a sign of his mentality of playing center. He just kind of understands what he needs to do. He understood his role in that. He didn't try to do too much. He didn't try to save the day when he didn't need to. He waited, and when the person that was truly his responsibility came through, he was there to block him. So this is Peter Riley Osborne for BeaverBlitz.com. Thanks for your time.